technical difficulty here, but we should be fixed any second. There you go. How you doing, brother?
Hmm. I'm back. Okay. Yeah. Hey, Sean, I hear the lapdog is getting an upgrade.
Well, we're going to
So your
talk about the
dog.
lapdog in a minute, but yeah,
Yep.
people, Billy McCarthy, the old lapdog, we talk about him quite often on the show. He's an interesting character, to say the least. I don't know
Mm-hmm.
if he realizes he's now part of the council or he's still digging ditches in the sewers, but either way, he's got the same
He's going in
mentality.
between.
But I thought I'd jump over to something, Timmy, because I know you're going to be really surprised over this. It's going to be shocking to you.
Mhm.
Yeah. Do you remember? I got to fix your thing because it was cut off. Do you remember at the last show I told you that we were going to invite the gentleman from New York City, the liberal from New York City, who decided that he's so important that he needs a 26% raise to put him up over $180,000 a year to be a great state senator in the state of New York, where they've done so much to help the people that we can't even afford to put our heat up over 65. Otherwise, we can't afford it. It's more than a mortgage. Yeah. So you remember
Yep.
we talked about Mr. Sanders, right? There's his picture right there. He's
Yeah,
got the bow
yeah,
tie
that's
on.
right.
I mean, the guy looks good, doesn't he? He's a classy looking son of a bitch, I got to say. He's a pompous prick, but he's classy. And so we reached out to him and said, hey, Mr. Sanders, you got a bill out there to give yourself a raise in the state Senate. It's a pretty cocky move considering the fact that everybody else is choking to death on debt that you created with your other bills that you support. How'd you
Yeah,
like
that's
to
right.
come on the show and talk to us about it? Cricket,
Mm-hmm.
cricket, cricket,
Cricket.
cricket.
Yep. Thank
That all I, so the first I got an email back from his office saying we'd love to talk about it. Can you send us a copy of the podcast? So we sent the copy of the podcast. The girl gets back to us. She says, "Oh, that's a pretty big podcast." I said, "Yeah, he'll get to a couple 100,000 people. 100,000 people are going to get to see him with his bow tie and talk about why he wants to give himself a raise and why he thinks he's entitled to a raise." And I said, I can't imagine he'd be concerned or scared about talking about it since he's put the bill out there to give himself a raise. Cricket,
you.
cricket. Not one comment, not one anything. I got nothing back from them at
Yeah.
all. So I knew you'd be shocked about that, just like the listeners of the show. They're probably shocked that this guy is. But take a good look at him. Tell me he's not a handsome son of a bitch. He's a well dressed
Yeah.
man. I mean, he could
Mhm.
probably buy a couple more bow ties at $190,000 a year, part time job, full health care, don't have to go to work when he doesn't want to, doesn't have to get out of bed if he doesn't want to, don't have to show up to nothing. There's no boss. It's not a job. You don't get up in the morning and have to answer to anybody. You just get up in the morning about 12 o'clock, you drink down a couple beers, you go to another event. They feed you, have a couple more beers. Then you get a half a buzz on because you got to be a drunk son of a bitch to think that you can go back to the chambers, put in a bill, and say, I'm worth $185,000 a year to do shit. Raise your prices for your national grid. Or say boys can be girls, or whatever other crazy shit. Oh, you can hit somebody over the head with a hammer, and you're going to get to walk out of the courthouse because we got bill reform and raise the age. Yeah, you deserve a raise, all
Yeah.
right. So somebody ought to put a frying pan on top of your head and give you a raise. It's called a lump, and maybe knock some sense
Yeah.
into you. But what do you think about that, Tim? Do you expect him to call?
This doesn't surprise me, especially in an era right now. You got Hochul going on out and say, "Hey, we need to bring the rich back into New York so we can tax them because we're
The,
running
sa-
out of money."
the same
This
rich that
guy
she
here
said.
wants to give himself a raise. I
These are
mean,
the
it
same
happened.
rich
It's
people.
real.
These are the same rich people she said a couple months before, pack your bags and move to Florida. We don't want you here. Right? So
Right. Now
them
she's
rich
bringing them
people.
back so that we can give Mr. Sanders here a big pay raise.
Wow.
It's insane. It's
It's
insane what's
lunacy,
going on.
man. It's lunacy to believe that people actually think that this is good government. I don't know how you could be a Democrat and not be ashamed. That's what I try to say to people. I've been a Democrat my whole life. I'm listening to all my friends. They're all talking about Trump, 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 Trump. I'm so sick of listening about Trump. The guy could part the sea and walk you across the ocean and get you to the other side without getting wet. And you'd say, he ruined your jacket because there was mud on your feet, or
Right. Yeah.
mud
Yeah.
splashed up on your pants, or I got a seashell in my pocket. So you come up with some bullshit, but
Yeah.
this is their people. This is what they're rooting for.
Right. And what do you think the odds of this passing, okay, down at the assembly? I
I don't
think we
think
had
it'll pass.
McDonald. No, I don't think so either. But just the gall to be able to say I need 185 grand when you got the governor turning around saying, "Hey, we got to get these rich people back. We don't have no money."
Well,
They
she's
don't communicate. It's insane.
yeah. Well, one of the reasons is she's trying to bail out that Satanist
Yeah.
down in New York City, right?
Yeah.
That guy,
Yeah. Kami Mandami.
Kami Andani, you got to go down there and you got to bow down. You got the bells playing at 6 in the morning. Everybody's bowing down in the parks, and he's eating
Yeah.
goats with his fingers, and it's
Yeah. Well,
insane.
just make sure you bring a prayer rug when you go into the mayor's office.
Yeah, well, you can't even get in. I imagine if you're
Yeah.
an American citizen, you can't get in. But if you're an illegal, he'll have you, or if you're getting deported, he'll have you sitting on the floor eating with your fingers.
Yeah. Eating
That's the
halal
that's the
food.
that's the new mayor that New York City has.
Yeah.
Now, I got nothing wrong with eating with your fingers. I eat my fingers all the time, but I also like to think that I'm a true-blooded American. I bleed red, white, and blue, and this guy is far from American. This mayor, this guy here, this
Yeah.
James Sanders, these guys don't care about nothing except
No,
themselves.
they right. They get elected and then they think they're above everybody. It's
And
bullshit.
yeah, and now you got the governor. She's just worried about getting reelected, so she's kissing the ass of the guy down in New York City that got all these votes. That people are starting to realize, wow, did we really vote for this son of a bitch? But she's kissing his ass, so she needs money to give him 1.5 billion so illegal aliens can pay for child care so they can sit home and figure out how to collect welfare and all the other stuff that you need to sit home for. You can't
Yeah.
get a job, and
It's
you got
true.
to send their kids to daycare, right?
So anybody make a phone call down to Mr. Sanders down there and get a hold of him through the assembly or whatever you want to do. Let
He's a
him
state
know.
senator. Yeah, call the Senate
State
and
senator, yeah.
say you want to speak to
Yeah.
James Sanders and you want to know if you can borrow a few bucks because you can't afford a bow tie like his.
Yeah, you need help to pay your gas bill.
So
Meanwhile, all the prices of everything's going up, and this guy needs a pay raise because they successfully raised made the economy in New York State unaffordable, property tax, you name it, and he needs a raise. Come on.
yeah, well, it's a complete scam. But anyway, Timmy,
Yeah.
it's a complete scam. But hey, I wanted to jump over something. So last week we were having another conversation, and we were talking about how the city is now looking towards developers who are developing property in the city to make them
Yeah.
pay. And I think it was $2,500 to hook into for each apartment. So if you're building a four
Yeah, it was.
unit, yeah, you got to pay, 2, 4, 6, 8. You got to pay all the 2,000 here, 2,000 here,
No,
2,000 here.
10 grand for four apartments.
Yeah, because
Okay.
I think I wasn't sure if it was 2,000 or 2,500, but
It's
10 grand for four
2,500.
apartments.
It's
So
11. I think it was 1,100 for a single, and 2,500 for anything more than two.
so
So
my under,
anything under two, yeah. Go ahead.
so my understanding is that all of the mayor's friends didn't take too kindly after they got to buy up all the property to build all of their little pet projects, right? So
Mm.
yeah, Bobby, I was just going to say that, man. Let me know if Judge hits a home run. Tonight's opening day for the Yankee game. We were doing our live right in the middle of the Yankee game. Well, only you and I would do something so stupid to me, right? But anyway, all these people got pissed off, and these are all their buddies, right? So let me tell you
Yeah, that's right.
let me tell you how this works, right? So we have a councilman that we've all known for years, Billy McCarthy, his name is, and he's pretty
Not
much like the
God.
scarecrow from the Wizard of Oz, right? The man don't know which way he's
Yeah.
going. But what we do know is that he doesn't need a brain because he's told what to do, has always been told what to do, and has never voted on his own in his whole time in the council, right? He's been Dodo Bird number one. So
Yeah, we
anyway,
always referred to him as the lapdog, but
yeah,
anyway,
he
yeah.
was the lapdog, Dodo Bird, Scarecrow, whatever you want to call him. Billy McCarthy
Yep.
he doesn't use his own brain. Now, let me tell you how this fraud works in the city hall. So you have this local law or ordinance or whatever the hell kind of passage they used. They put together the bill. The mayor supposedly doesn't want it. He's not for it. But
He's not
Steve
in for it.
Hennessy's for it, and every other employee of the mayor who's appointed is now going against the mayor over a bill to charge $2,500 to developers. So you know
because they
damn
thought
well.
right because they thought the mayor was in favor of it too.
No, 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 Timmy. Come on, you're smart. Don't be like the scarecrow here. You know
No,
he's in
no, no, no.
favor of it. He's in favor
Yeah,
of it, and he's pretending he's not. So he's
yeah.
got all of his
That's what I meant.
cronies out there, like Steve Hennessy and everybody else, supporting this and pushing the agenda to the council. The council doesn't vote on anything. The mayor doesn't tell them what to vote on. And the dodo
Right.
bird never votes on anything unless he's told how to vote and when to vote for it and who's he voting for and how he's voting for it and who's told him to do it is the mayor. So the mayor stands
Mhm.
outside and goes, I know nothing about it. I don't like it. I don't want nothing to do with it. The council passes this bill, local law, whatever you want to call it, on the city level,
Yep.
and it becomes the new fee for these developers, right? So
Right.
all of a
Yeah. And
sudden,
then that's where you're right.
all these developers, let's say all of them, what is there, two? And they're all the same ones,
Yeah.
right? Because nobody else
Right.
is coming to Coles. And this city is giving away all this property to one developer. And we'll talk about that too. But anyway, so now the developers start crying and bitching, right? So they go and they make this big stink. So last night at the workshop or council meeting, I'm not sure which one it was. It's probably a council meeting because it's the end of the month, right?
Yeah.
The scarecrow, Billy McCarthy says, I don't like this and I'm not voting for this, man. I'm not doing it, right?
Right.
And
Right. Yeah. Change
Joe,
his
I got
mind.
that tan in Florida, brother. So McCarthy goes, I didn't want to vote for that. I didn't mean to vote for that, and I don't even know where it came from. Wait a minute. You are the city councilman. You voted for it. Now you don't know where it came from. You don't know how it got to you. You don't know who told you how to vote for it, except for now the guy came back and said, Billy, we shouldn't have done that. We're getting killed. His name's Keeler, Bill Keeler.
Yeah.
He's the mayor of the city.
Yeah. That's
Coming
right.
coming to Dodo Bird going, I think we fucked this one up because now everybody's up in arms, right? So now Billy's trying to figure out how to change it.
Like he did
And
before for his last stunt a few years ago. But anyway,
And so another council member's like, well, where did the $2,500 come from anyway? Wait a minute. You voted on this too. What do you mean, where did it come from? So how do these 6 members vote for something? None of them knows where it came from. None of them knows how it got put together. And now they're all trying to figure out how to get out of it. How
yep.
discombobulated, how incompetent, how incredibly embarrassing it is that you are a city council, the whole council. You guys are supposed to be the ones doing the research and the homework and putting this shit together and reading all the stuff and coming up with all the answers. But we know that you don't do that. You just do what you're told. And then when you get backlash, you're all trying to figure out, A, what you voted on, because none of you know what really you voted on, how it came to fruition, and now what are you going to do to fix it? And now Keeler's got his head under the desk. I'm not saying there's anybody under there with him, but his head's under the desk. Billy McCarthy may be under the desk because he's probably saying, you owe me big time because I look like an asshole. Or maybe he doesn't even realize it because he's got no brains anyway, right? And then the other council people are like, I don't know. I don't know.
Well,
And
this mayor here, he has a history, okay, of playing stupid when things go wrong, and he always has a fall guy, okay?
yeah, yeah.
When everything comes on him in a negative way, such as something like this, there's always a fall guy. And so
Is he
who's the fall
stupid
guy?
or is he just play
Right,
stupid?
right, right. It's right here with McCarthy. And look at just on top of this. Remember a few years ago, Sean, when there was a vote on what is a supermajority vote? What McCarthy does is he passes legislation with 4 votes to appoint Charlie Valenti to the ethics board, saying that is a supermajority of a 6-member
Yeah, well,
council. It's just more
again,
stupidity. And on top of that, I'm on a roll here. On top of that, what did he do with the veto vote? He brought Russell into the mayor's office. Okay, they had a little chit chat, and when they came on out, Russell abstains from a budget vote so the mayor can get his big $20,000 a year raise. Okay,
exactly.
this
And
is
that's
Mike
what I was just
McCarthy, the dodo bird.
that's what I was just going to say. So this bill that they have after the council votes for the whole, unanimous 6 to zip, right? The
Yeah,
mayor doesn't sign it. Now, if the mayor doesn't sign something, after I think 10 days, it becomes the
right.
law,
Yeah, it
right?
does.
But
Yes, it
but
does.
he wants to play stupid and go, well, I didn't like it, so I didn't sign it. Wait a minute. If you don't like it, you veto it. And
That's
don't
right.
pretend you don't know how to do a veto, brother, because you vetoed yourself in a $20,000 raise. You know how to do that veto,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
It
yeah.
wasn't no Danny to veto. He knew how to veto the bill to make
He
sure
raised
that he
that
got his
veto.
raise. But he
Yeah,
didn't
he
know how to
raised
veto
that
the
veto.
yeah,
Yep.
he didn't know how to veto the bill on the $2,500 that he really didn't like. And then I'm
So the
looking at Sean
backlash.
Van. I'm listening at Sean
Yeah.
Van Sleet over here. He was at the meeting and he says the same thing. He says it was past 6-0. Killer stated, "I didn't like the numbers, so I didn't sign off on it," which means he didn't really dislike them because he would have vetoed it. And then McCarthy says, I didn't like the numbers either. And that was after McCarthy already voted for the numbers. So if the mayor
Yeah.
got up and did 3 jumping
I don't
jacks,
like it, but I'm
McCarthy,
going to vote yes.
yeah, if the mayor got up and did 3 jumping jacks, McCarthy would have got up and did 3 jumping jacks, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
And
It's a clown
man,
show. And
it's just
you got
hilarious.
Brainless there, the lapdog. Now he's a scarecrow. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
and
This
so
is a council that that has no leadership. 6-0, all of them just jump on board. All of them.
oh man. So I'll say this though. So going forward with that stupid bill, Joey Johnson probably likes this. He owns about. He's
Yeah,
probably worth about 40 million now, and owns about 7,000 houses.
apartments. Yeah,
I don't know if any of them are storefronts, but I'm sure he's anti this bill, which was to charge the storefronts for not having a business in there, right? And
yeah,
April Trudeau, the only female girl on the council, she's the only one that had the wherewithal to say, wait a minute, this is bad. This is stupid. This is not a good. This is not good for economic development. It's not good for a dying city. It's not good for a dying downtown. And so now my understanding is they're all discombobulated on that too. They don't know what to do with that because they don't know really what the hell they're doing. So this is going to go to its 58th committee meeting, and they're going to have to reconsider and try to figure out how the hell do we make it work in Cohoes. I don't know. It's just
yeah.
crazy.
Think about it. Tony well, I call him Ants. It's Anthony LePage. Okay. Now he's going around. He's building some things, cleaning up the city and stuff like this. He's going to be building this a 9 apartment building on Dartmouth Street. Okay, so he's facing with 9 apartments. Okay, because it's greater than two, he's facing $2,500
Well, I'm
for
sure he
the
was bitching
connection.
about it too, because I mean, that
I'm
just
sure
you're
he
talking
was.
about these. He's a small time developer,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
He's
yeah. He's just
developing
going.
one house, 2 houses at a time. He's not $30 million, $40 million. So for
No, yeah,
him, so for
yeah,
him, I'm sure he's got to go to the bank. He's got to get loans. Just so don't the big guy, but they got a lot of capital, right? He's just
yeah.
starting out, and I think he's going to be amazing. I think he already is amazing, and I think he's doing a lot of good for the city. But
Yeah, he's doing a
imagine,
lot of good. Yeah,
but they're gonna when they smack $10,000 on top of his plans, he either has to suck it up and eat it, not build the building, or now say market rent just went up $150 more a
it's going to
month.
pass the cost on to the tenants. That's all they
Yeah,
do.
so it's
Yeah.
just a really
Yeah. So what are
it's
you going
just
to
a
do
really
with,
stupid.
our main developer in the city? Okay, Remodel Now is going to build this 30 apartments down there in Remsen Street. Okay, you're greater than 2 apartments. He gets whacked for $2,500 for each one.
Well, I'm going to tell you what's going to happen. He already started crying about it. So
Hmm.
therefore, they're trying to figure out how to lower it down. They're probably going to lower it down to like $100, and it's only going to cost $1,200. The bottom line is, this is a city that doesn't think; it reacts. It doesn't know how to plan. It just tries to figure out ways to fill the gaps that they create themselves. Right? Every issue they have is an issue where they're trying to fix their own problem. It's like taking a shot and collecting your own rebound all the time, and then say you're the rebound king. Right?
Yeah,
It's
rebound.
just, yeah, the bottom line is they keep making mistakes, and then they have to figure out ways to fix their own mistakes, and it just snowballs on. Look at the downtown Cohoes is not going to be what it was when I was in office. I guarantee it. I'm not like Donald Trump where I go, hey, I'm the best in the world, but Well, tell you what, I turned that city into the best it's been since I was probably born, and now look at it, right? Storefronts, empty storefronts. Now they want to fine people. You got Steve Fat Ass Napier, who's in charge of the redevelopment of the downtown. I'm told he's got about $600,000 of discretionary money out of that $10 million bullshit game that they played, and the city won the because they were the last city
the
left.
award for 10 million from Hochul. Yeah,
There
right.
was no cities left, so they were the ones that won it.
They said, "Yeah, it's your turn, host."
But
Go ahead.
imagine putting that shit shack builder in charge of $600,000. This guy doesn't know what he's doing. You got a guy who's been in office for how long has Keeler been here?
5 years.
All right, they've built nothing. They've done nothing. They've run people out of town. They've done shit. I believe the figure mentioned was 16K, so it comes out to be 6 sites. Okay, so again, regardless of the figure, it's costing you a lot of money to connect to the city's shitty sewers that are already shitty, breaking every day anyway, right? So if you want to come to Cohoes and you want to be a developer, I suggest you sit back and wait, because Billy McCarthy's friends are yelling at him. And anytime they do that, he puts his tail between his legs, whimpers back, and tries to figure out how to fix his own problem that they should have never caused in the first place, because nobody's knocking the door down to build in the city of Cohoes. In fact, they're begging people. And that's why they have done one thing that is against the golden rule. And that is they put all of their eggs into one basket, Timmy, into that one guy. And they should have learned from their mistakes, because when they did that before with the old cowboy, the whole city collapsed. And that's what's going to happen. It's going to happen. Mark my words, those apartments down at the end of Ransom Street will not end up being market rate apartments as long as there's gunshots every other Friday night on that same corner. So I don't
Well,
know.
can't they? Now I don't know how the local government, but can't they simply repeal that law?
Well, they can't. They can, but they got to go through the process. They're going to have to
Yeah,
go in and say,
they're going to look like a bunch of clowns. Yeah.
Well, they look like clowns now. They look like the
Right.
scarecrow. I mean, they're
Yeah.
when think about this. You
Yeah.
voted for something. Now you're sitting at the meeting and you go, "Hey, who said it had to be 25? Where did that number come from?" Well, I don't know, Billy. You voted on it. Where the fuck did it come from? And when the mayor goes, "I didn't like that number, so I didn't sign it." But he knew how to veto the bill to get himself the $20,000 raise. "Oh, I'm sorry,
Right.
Mr. Mayor. We didn't know you didn't know how to veto a fucking bill, but you did a pretty good job when you wanted to give yourself a
Right.
raise, right?" So, if people
After
are
all
that
the phone
stupid,
calls came in. Yeah.
yeah, if Cohoes people don't see this as like a painting place, it actually is like, except we don't have the golden street, the yellow brick road. We got dog shits.
Yeah.
You got to do you have to hop down Ransom Street and hope you don't land in a pile of shit. That's what we have. It's like the land of Oz. But I don't know, Tim. That's all I got to say about that. What about you? What the hell's that noise?
I've seen this shit show going on there. It's disgusting for me to even want to go down to council meetings, okay? Because everything is formatted, Sean, okay? When a resolution comes on up, this guy introduces it. Then the next one, that one introduced. Then the next one. It's handed out like candy to these guys, okay? Okay. So what happens is now they all jump on board. They think it's a cool thing that, hey, we're going to vote for this. They vote for it. They pass the damn thing, and then the goddamn phone calls roll in. You think they would have used some common sense here, Sean? What more does it cost to make a connection that's costing you $1,100 to make the same connection that's now $2,500?
Well,
The
you know
same
what it is?
connection.
It's them trying to figure out how to get some money,
Right.
because they're spending. Yeah, they're
Right.
pissing money away like nobody's business.
Right. They still got to dig. They still got to tap the pipe, and they got to make a connection. What's the difference? You
Timmy,
know,
the only
how does
development
it
now.
cost twice as much?
Listen, I understand listen, I went through this when I was in office, right? And
Yeah.
I always use the same term. Everybody wants to get to heaven. Nobody wants to die to get there, right? Everybody wants to have a city that has flush parks, beautiful landscape, great fire department, great police department, great this, great that, right? And they want all this great stuff, and they don't
Yeah.
want to raise taxes for it, and they don't want to bring a new development for it. So how the hell are you supposed to get it, right?
Yeah, so look at we got John Franier saying, look at mayor can veto and the council doesn't override the veto, it goes right back to the drawing board. But that's not what
Absolutely.
happened.
That's why I said, John, the mayor knows
It's
how to
all on the
veto
mayor.
because he vetoed the budget that had to go back to the council, back to the drawing board, except for the council didn't have enough people to override the veto, so he wins the money.
Right, right. That's how he managed to squeeze out a raise for himself because what did he do? He had Don Russell abstain from a budget
Yeah.
vote, which led to him. And the lapdog, of course, he voted no. So they only had 4 votes. They couldn't override his veto. Bingo. It all stinks. Okay, it all
Yeah.
stinks.
And in the meantime, the citizens of Cohoes are just so
Yeah.
busy trying to navigate their own lives in this difficult, crazy world
Yeah.
that they're not paying attention. And you know something? I learned a long time ago that local government can do a whole lot of shit and screw up a whole lot of stuff and make things a whole lot worse for you, but you're really not paying attention and you just vote for the people you know. Oh, Billy McCarthy, he's a nice guy. He once sucked out my sewer. Yeah, he's a nice guy. Why don't you let him do fucking open heart surgery on you? He's such a nice guy, right? You don't go to Dr. Rip when you need to have something done that, you could die from. You don't go to a plumber and go, hey, I got a broken leg. You go to the best of the best. And local government, state government, county government, all government should stop voting for their friends and say to their friends, I love you, but before I vote for you, A, B, C, and D, because as much as I love you, you're picking up $18,000 for the job and you could cost me 20. Tell me what you're going to do.
Yeah.
And if you don't want to be your friend no more,
Right.
yeah, and if they don't want to be your friend no more because you don't vote for them, then fuck them. They're not your friend anyway, Timmy.
Right, right. And look at what's going on too is they now want, and here's where I'm going to take a slap at Nick Eyes. All right, what you got here is you got the vacant storefronts, right? And we talked about this. Okay, so now what they're so hurting for money, which they keep saying we've got a lot of money. Okay, that they need to penalize property owners with what I would like to call a tax, okay, for a vacant storefront, which is not always the fault of the landlord. And the bottom line is, okay, why would you turn around and tax a vacant storefront when they're only going to pass that cost on to a tenant,
Timmy,
okay, who eventually goes in?
anybody can put a sticker on the window and say, this is my real estate business, or this is my, I'm collecting ants.
Put a sign in a window, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's just pure. When you want to compare Albany, New
money
York,
grab.
when you try to compare Albany, New York to New Rochelle, you're really out of whack. Okay.
Yeah, well, even Cohoes, New Rochelle's got 85,000 population, okay?
You're with $125,000
And you got
minimum.
Nick Izzo comparing Cohoes with 18,000 or less to New Rochelle with 85,000 and said, well, they do it in New Rochelle, but we should be able to do it in Cohoes.
Forget about the population. They're down by Manhattan, for Christ's sake.
Yeah,
And
Westchester.
the average family income is about 140,000 compared to 4,000 in Cohoes. Cohoes has got a lot of poverty. So when you're drawing people into the city of Cohoes, the first thing that a business wants to know is, what does this city do to attract business downtown? Because you're not going to survive on 16,000 people with half of them that are on that are low income. And that's not a knock to being on low income.
About 35,000 in Cohoes, the medium.
Yeah, and I'm saying that's not a knock to the people. I understand poverty.
Right.
I lived in it my whole life, right?
Yeah.
But if you're trying to sell ice cream cones and they're 50 cents and half the city only has a dime, you're shit out of luck. You're going to have a lot of melted ice cream cones all over the sidewalk. So where do you go? You go to the place where they go, hey, by the way, the cones here are 25 cents. Everybody here has got $1.50. That's the difference. You don't compare apples to apples because there is none. You have to look at New Rochelle and say, hey, these guys make this much money. This is why they can afford to do it. And everybody's knocking on their door to get into the downtown. And so we're going to have an idea of trying to make people keep businesses here. But it's just crazy. Hey, thanks, Bobby. Yeah, Judge struck out. I figured he struck out. He struck out 3 times at the last USA game too. So Timmy, I don't know. All I see is a screwed up council. I don't see them heading anywhere. I don't see. They're trying to backtrack on this, backtrack on that. You know, the city's in trouble. Nobody wants to work here. People are quitting all the time. Our cops average about 21 years old. They're just young kids. There's no senior people here no more. It's just
Sean, you got contractors. Even this morning, patching a road out in front of my house.
yeah.
Contractors, okay.
That's because that's Steve Hennessy. He'll destroy. He's
Yeah,
destroyed DPW.
yeah, okay. They're down 11 men. I think that it was a contract. I can't think of their whole name. I think it was something like Evergreen. I don't know. It began with an A, but they were out there. They did a really nice job. But why can't our own city patch you know,
Because they have enough people to
section of
throw
road?
garbage.
Right, section of road. Okay, you're right.
They got enough people
Not
to,
enough
to
people.
patch garbage. But hey, listen, don't worry, man. It's getting better. Summer's coming. Timmy, I was just down in Florida, right? And you know my position. Florida to me just seems to be a place where everything's happening, right? You don't walk out the door and step in dog shit. You walk out the door and the streets are clean, and I see the people picking
Yeah,
up garbage with a little stick in the grass, and they got the nice big sign on their their shirts saying where they're from, and the sun is shining, people are happy, and I know it's different. I'm not saying that you can compare, but there's places like Dunedin, Florida, that are just a little bit bigger than Cohoes, but 10 times more beautiful, clean as can be, right? You don't have to be a rich community to be clean. You don't have to be a rich community to pick up dog shit all over the sidewalks. You don't have to be a rich community to cut the weeds. You don't have to be a rich community to make sure that code enforcement is not an attack dog, but it's a watchdog, and it helps people to get past those little
yeah.
humps they
We
have.
do have, yeah,
Yeah, but instead they
yeah.
just want to attack you. I
Right.
mean,
Now,
you
code
don't.
enforcement here, I'm sorry, while you're on that, code enforcement just nailed somebody down on Congress Street, wants them to replace 9 windows in a building that's been there for 100 years.
Yeah.
Okay,
Why don't they
because the
walk their
sliders
ass?
they don't open. Okay, it's been that way for 90 years. It's always passed in the past, but now they go in there and they attack and just you know create more hardship for people who are just trying to survive in the
I'm a
city.
big
And you're right,
fan.
Kevin Kalikowski. It was evolution that's paving the roads. Go ahead, John.
Evolution
Sorry.
was the company. Oh yeah, I see Kevin. Hey Kevin,
Right,
how you doing,
evolution.
brother?
They're the one that pat. They were the same ones that were up there patching the road when
Yeah.
Keeler's house was getting built, and they tore up the side of the road. They were up there patching it for, 'em, and we paid for it.
And we paid for it. There's your
We
tax
did.
dollars. So, Timmy, one other thing, I'm a big fan of code enforcement because a lot of lives have been saved because of codes, right? But again, they're not attack dogs. They're watchdogs, and they should
Yeah,
help people, and they should have ideas of how people can get, grants, and they should know a lot more than just going and going, oh, your window don't open, right? But let me just tell you something. I grew up on Olmsted Street, and we were as poor could be. And you know my position when I start hearing people say, "Oh, keep putting in these, low income apartments." Well, my whole family was low income. Every friend I ever had was low income. And guess what? We were pretty good. We weren't shooting each other and doing drugs and running people over and smashing windows. And we were crazy. Yeah, we were crazy. But it has nothing to do with your income. It has everything to do with society itself. Society is broken in a lot of pieces, man, and it's scattered all over the place. But if you want to start with code enforcement, drag your ass down to Olmsted Street and look at the disgusting display that those people are living under. Go look at every one of those concrete porches that are just falling apart and the metal sticking out and the sidewalks have dents and weeds and the park across the streets of Pigsty,
just look
the canal.
at the monument, the canal monument there. Okay,
Yeah.
it's
So
Sean. It looks like it's 200 years old. It's dystopia. They
So,
don't even take care of a,
well, it
a,
is 200 years old, but in other
yeah,
places they take great pride in those with those
yeah.
canals.
There's you wouldn't believe the amount of garbage underneath there. In fact, people are feeding cats. They're leaving food out for the cats because the cats are going in there after the rats. Okay, it's
It's just
it's just
it's a mess.
it's
It's a
that
mess.
bad, and we've been telling them about this for years, but they don't go in there and clean it out. They don't clean up that monument.
We sent
They,
them pictures and said, please go up there.
yeah,
These are listen. Nothing bothers me more than people who are low income being treated
mhm,
like second class citizens, like because they got no money that they deserve somehow to live in shit, right?
yeah. Look at
I
the children's park there. It's the worst in the city.
Yeah, but how about send code enforcement over there and make them fix those porches? I don't know when Mrs. Davis owned those apartments, they were gorgeous. They
Mhm.
took great care of those apartments. They took great pride. Everybody who lived in there would be outside sweeping their own little porch, picking up the little garbage in front of it. It wasn't our house. We didn't own it, but we lived in it. And my mother said, we're going to keep a clean house. And everybody on the block was the same way. And so every night you'd come home
Mhm.
and they'd be out sweeping and they'd be out picking up garbage. That was the neighborhood. That was society. We were poor. So don't blame everything on poor, man. Blame it on society.
No.
Blame it on these raise the age and these bail reforms and all this other shit that's going on, right? Blame it on Sanders who wants a $180,000 raise why he's letting kids shoot at each other and get out of jail 5 minutes later. These are the problems, and we keep voting for the problems. I'm starting to think that I'm smarter than Bobby Scanlon, right? Maybe not. He moved to Florida. But I'm starting to think that maybe I'm the smart guy and everybody else is dumb here because why do we keep voting for the same people? I am a freaking Democrat. I've been a Democrat my whole life. I've been getting the shit beat out of me because everybody says, you're not a Democrat, you're a Republican. I ain't been a Republican my life. I don't even know what the Republican Party actually stood for until a couple years ago when I started realizing I'm a Democrat. I'm always going to be a Democrat. I believe in the old Democratic way of doing things. I believed in what they stood for. But because I speak out against the party that I belong to that's destroying the country, I'm somehow a traitor. And everybody else who's a Democrat who speaks out against its party, you're a traitor.
Mhm.
You're the Trump fan. I'm not a Trump fan no more than I'm a Jesus Christ fan. Outside of that, I don't have nobody in this world that I look up to and go, my parents, but I don't look at Donald Trump and go, oh, he's the great. I think he's a moron. I think he's got balls this big. I think he's so crazy that he's not afraid to walk into a room with, the craziest, most powerful people in the world, push him out of the way and go, America's great. We're the best. Somehow, I think that's okay. I really think it is okay. And I'm sorry, Bobby, if I ruined your reputation. You're right. Nobody ever said you were smart except you moved to Fort Lauderdale and you live on the boat and you got the best life going.
John, maybe you right, maybe you remember this, but the county jail used to let inmates come on out, and they had these teams that would go around they did it in Cahos, and they were going around cleaning up the
I
city
did
in
it, Timmy.
various
I had
different
him
places.
here. I had him here
Right,
every.
right.
Yeah.
What and why has that disappeared?
I don't know.
Okay.
I can't answer why. We should ask the
Yeah,
sheriff when he was on, but I don't know the answer to that. That's a county question. That's a sheriff question. But
yeah,
he
maybe.
was, he was still doing it up to a few years ago. I had him up here cleaning all the curbs and all the
Yeah,
sidewalks, and yeah. So there's
yeah,
ways of doing it, right?
yeah,
What's
yeah.
it say, Sean? I need your petition signature.
Yeah, you could
What do you need my signature for? Tell me what it
for
is.
mayor.
Huh?
I
Are you running for
keep
office?
I keep getting hit all the time about this. Morse needs to run for mayor. We need Morse back there.
You are just smart
Jesus.
enough, Bobby. You are just
Yeah.
smart enough. I love you too.
Yeah.
But I'm not relying on you for parking spaces no more. Um, but Timmy, I think out of all the people that watch the show, I think most of them are sad Democrats. I think they're sad Democrats who have watched their grandparents and their parents and everybody in their family grow up in that Democratic family And we had strong Democrats. Look, I used to say, if you're born in Cohoes, they stamp your ass USDA Democrat. Right? That's just what you were. You didn't have to know what they did, who they stood for, but you believed in your grandpa, your grandma, your mom, your dad. It, I had to step back, man, and think to myself, if I'm supporting people who think it's okay to take a little boy, cut his nuts off in the name of like youth health or mental health, and not think the person who's thinking it's okay to cut the little kid's balls off ain't mentally unstable, then I'm in the wrong party. What do you say? I'm circulating a petition with your name. Listen, I'm just trying to tell you. Listen, I was part of that political system. I was there until they killed me. They killed me. Listen. If anybody watched my life unfold, you've seen a dead man walk in. As soon as I said to Cuomo, "You are the biggest and most corrupt governor in America," and as soon as I said that, 3 days later, everybody who cleared me of everything that they tried to say I did, they sent the federal government to knock on my door. They're not clearing you for shit. When they're coming for you, they're just going to figure out how to kill you. I know what it's like to stand up against these people. I know what it's like to get things done. I know what it's like that you have to push them out of the way if you really want to see change. Because the new party, the new breed are nuts, Timmy. They're worse than the scarecrow. Their brains are less. The scarecrow with no brain has more brains than they have. So I don't know. Bobby's an ex-Dem. I don't want to be an ex-Dem. I'm just telling you. I don't want to be an ex-Democrat. I want to be a Democrat that stood for hardworking people in organized labor, trying to get them over the hump. I don't want to be the Democrat that said, I'm putting you on welfare for your whole entire life. Instead, I want to be the one that says, we're going to help you until you can get up off the ground, brush yourself off, go get some college, take care of yourself, get a good job, and live a great American life. I don't want to be like these people. And so I got to try to figure out how to navigate a political party that most of us who were born Democrat, who ain't so blinded by the hate of Cuomo, can learn how to function back in our party or try to put it back together because it's broken. Timmy, I know you're not even listening to me, son of a bitch. All you're doing is reading these little things. I'm going to shut off these comments because you don't pay attention to me.
I am. I'm writing down notes, okay, because I got things, information coming my way that for on the radar. Like I'm being told here that our ladder truck that's up here parked in the fifth ward is because it's too heavy to sit in Central Station. They were backing it into the fire station, and the ladder bucket part hit part of the building. And what happened is it was being guided in there by a certain new captain. Okay.
You're saying dry coat wasn't behind the truck?
Yeah, right. The guy.
Did he go over this way, over this way? Bam!
Right. Come in, and then the bucket hit the wall. So right now it's not out of service, but the ladder truck is going to have to be going out of service so it can get repaired. That's what.
That's what happens when you put a dry coat into position, and he probably couldn't see over his own the back bumper, so he couldn't see the.
Right, he couldn't see the bucket. But I mean, that's what I'm doing while you're ranting, while you're on your rants. Okay, so
hey,
I got
listen.
that. I also got what happened with Johnny Morse being number 2 in the Times Union. Okay, for best guitarist in the region. That's what I'm doing, buddy.
I'm calling bullshit. Yeah. I think the guy from Jesus, I just drew a blank. Who's the guy that was number 1?
I didn't even bother reading the article because when I saw Johnny was number 2, I said, "Nah, that's number."
First of all, Johnny's better, far better than that person. But that doesn't even matter because the guy I love the band.
But he got the recognition, but he doesn't get the recognition in his own city. Okay, along with all the other musicians when they took down that wall of fame.
I'm telling you that I agree with you, Timmy. I think it's one of the best things you said a couple years ago when you said Keeler doesn't even have the wherewithal to recognize this wonderful talent that was up on this wall of fame. Because when we built a $3 million park, those plaques had a place to go in that park. Yeah. And every year we would have not every year, but when somebody deserved it, that plaque, there would have been additions to those plaques. These were musicians And Johnny Morris is a legend. I don't care if he's my brother. The guy's a legend. He's one of the best guitar players. He's been playing as long as I've been alive. And whether he's number one or number 100 in the eyes of
Yeah.
Cajos, what a sad, sad way to recognize the people. One of them was my Uncle George Primo and his band. This
Yeah.
guy is so pathetic and so jealous that he can't put their names up there. So to the Times Union, I hate you, but you got that one right. At least you got him in the.
Yeah.
At least you
They
recognized him.
did get that right, and they got it. They got it half right,
Yeah.
okay? Because he should have been ranked number one. But
Yeah.
anyway,
But
and that's
anyway,
no diss on the
one or
person
two
who
or
got
three
it,
really doesn't matter. The truth is, his own cities let him down. And Benny, I'm with you,
Yeah.
Ben. I agree. The Democrats are it's sad. But I'm telling you, Timmy, if you can't recognize your own people for their successes, but you'll promote somebody who can't see high enough to make sure the truck don't back into the wall, you got your priorities crossed, brother. I mean,
Yeah. Well, all they had to do is get somebody other than Drycoat to eye it into the building, okay?
yeah, it's not. He
But now
probably.
here it is.
Well, if he wasn't behind that truck, he should be suspended because that's what they would do. Anybody else would be suspended for not doing their job.
Yeah, and that's what I'm
So
being told by the
we'll have
crews
to dig into
privately,
this one.
quietly.
We'll have
Yeah,
to figure out.
yeah.
Maybe he was trying to. Maybe he was trying to back it in to get out of the lawsuit. Maybe.
Well, he was watching the truck. You know, that's what he does. He watches the truck, but he wasn't watching the building. So what did they
Son
do?
of a bitch,
They
Timmy. You
back
got
on
these
up
people now.
there.
These people throw eggs at my house because of you, you son of a bitch.
Yeah, that's right. But hey, I'm
But
telling
Timmy,
you,
listen,
I've
I'm
been
going to
at
jump
it.
over to something else. Look, I want to jump over to something else that's far more sinister and certainly far more sickening to me.
Yeah,
And that's another young, beautiful girl walking with her friends right by her college is murdered by a undocumented immigrant from Venezuela, right?
yep,
And
illegal. Yep.
and I will tell you, outside of what we're talking about tonight, there's not been one riot. There's not been one piece of shit Democrat standing up screaming about these people and how many deaths there are. Instead, they want to focus on Minnesota. They want to focus on a self created chaotic situation where they were part of making all these people start these riots. And then they want to say two people died, and they did. And I pray for them and their family. But you know what? If you got to stick your head in the oven, chances are you might burn your ears, right? And that's what happened. These people shouldn't have been where they were. Bad things happen when you put yourself where you shouldn't be. But walking with your friends as a young, beautiful girl in college shouldn't be a place where you put yourself where somebody's going to jump out and fucking stab you to death. And nobody's going to say a word. Nobody's going to come to your defense. Not one Democrat's going to stand up and fight for this girl. Not one's going to come out and say anything. But you turn on CNN, you turn on MBNC, XPRX, and all them other bullshit Democratic channels, and they'll be talking about Minnesota, 2 Americans dead. Well, how many Americans are dead now at the hands of these animals that we have opened up the border and let walk in and want to pretend that these are just great people coming for a great life, when in fact they are animals that should not be here, are mixed in with good people, but that makes it irrelevant, Timmy. It's irrelevant. You can't look at people and go, well, they're good and they're bad. So since you can't separate that, they all have to have a process, right? You can't just
Yeah,
say,
well,
oh, they look good. This little son
well,
of a bitch here,
Mhm.
they should take him in jail. They should put him in jail, and somebody should say death penalty for this bastard. But somehow we'll try to deport him. And that piece of shit that went over to where did he go? Was it Venezuela the last time I had a glass of wine with the
I think so.
So they'll be
Yeah,
trying to figure out. I don't know. They'll try to figure
yeah,
out how to blame this young girl.
right. It's her fault. She was in the wrong place at the wrong time. That's what
She
they'll
is a
say.
beautiful. Look at this beautiful little face right there.
Yep.
You think about it tonight, right? a mother, a father, an aunt, an
Yeah.
uncle, a grandparent, a brother, a cousin, a friend, somebody is broken beyond repair because
And you
this
seen this.
young, yeah, they're broken beyond repair and nobody gives a shit.
And you've
Nobody
seen the same
cares.
thing with these illegal truck
It doesn't
drivers that
matter,
can't
Johnny,
even
if it was
read
10 years ago
English.
or 15 years ago. The son of a bitch, you were still number one in my eyes. The park should have been postered with everybody who's done something great in our community. And the mayor of the city is a shitbird for not recognizing you guys. But I don't want to. I don't want to take anything away from this young, beautiful girl. But my God, when is America going to wake up? When is the Democrats that are so blinded with hatred for Trump going to push Trump aside? He is only a temporary seat, right? He's only a temporary man in a seat that 4 years from now won't be here. But you know what will be here? The everlasting effects of Joe Biden's borders. And those effects have a very clear picture. And that picture is right there in front of you, which is a young girl with her picture next to a fucking animal who murdered her, and not one Democrat is going to say a word. And she will
Won't stand
go,
up for her at all.
that's right, she will die off, and nobody will know her name because they won't let it come out of their lips. Okay?
Right. She's going to fade away.
And nobody cares because that girl does not fit the narrative that they want in this country, which is these are great people and they're only here for great things, and don't worry about it because this is really something that happens very sporadically. Well, how many people have to die before it's a problem? When is it not sporadic no more? Is it not sporadic after 2, after 3, after 5? I mean, can you spend 16 weeks of CNN talking about the 2 Americans that died by ice who put themselves in the oven and spend 10 seconds? I looked on every one of the channels today just to find out how much time the major networks spent talking about this beautiful little girl. I couldn't find it. I couldn't find it on ABC, CBN, Fox. I couldn't find it anywhere. I watched it this morning on Fox. I know people hate Fox, except for it's the number watched cable TV news network in the country. You know why? Because even the people who want to pretend to be these, anti-Trump, hate them, they still want to know what both sides of the spectrum. They might not tell you they're watching it, but they are. And I hope tonight they're watching this podcast with this beautiful little girl whose life has been stolen by that piece of shit who should not have been here. And I hope when we wake up tomorrow, we'll all remember that nobody's talking about her. They'll be talking
and all
about.
this guy is going to get is a free plane ticket back to Venezuela.
Yeah.
That's what
Well, I don't even know if he'll get that. I think they'll fight and say he can't be deported. That's what they'll do. They'll try to figure out how to give him a job in Minnesota. He'll be in Minnesota. They'll be trying to give him a job. He'll be doing some kind of. He'll open up a store and he'll get free money like the rest of them over there. It's a crazy world we live in, people. And I get in an argument with a lot of my friends. I still love them. I'm not the kind of guy that gets in an argument with you and then we'll never talk to you again, right? Tracy Frame, I love him. I've known him since I was a little kid, man. I love him to death. Ricky Sheen, I love Ricky and his family to death. But I clash with them. I clash with them because everything they post is just Trump, 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 Trump. Well, Trump didn't cause all the fucking problems. He causes problems. There's no doubt. Everybody causes problems, right? But my God, stop just pointing the finger at one. How about we step back and do it like we did when we were kids? Have a freaking beer and let's talk about all the crazy shit that's going on and try to figure out, how we could solve the world around a beer at Boney's, even though we couldn't solve nothing because nobody would listen to us. It was never one-sided, pure hate. And now it's one-sided, pure hate. And I just want to shout out to those two guys because I fight with them on Facebook all the time. And I want to tell you, I love you guys. I'd be the first guy that you could call that would be to your house in 5 minutes to help you do anything. But I'm still going to argue with you all the time because I think Trump has got problems, but I think Biden has caused this country far more
Even more.
everlasting problems.
Him and Mayorkas, and I don't know why this Mayorkas isn't arrested and put in jail. Okay, he was the one that led that whole thing. Hey, Sean, look at we're getting close to wrapping up here. I got one thing that's on the radar.
One thing on the radar, Timmy. Why don't you tell me what's on it?
Metal detectors coming to Cohoes High School.
Oh, and I still left this up here too, Timmy, because
What
again
is
we
it?
just this is this is the space where they're going to charge the fees. It's still on the radar because the only one
Yeah.
who spoke out against it was April Trudeau. So
Well,
kudos to April Trudeau
her,
for having
okay?
the only kahunas, and she's a woman.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
she's a smart girl, and we told you that
We're gonna
she's
try. We're
learning
gonna
her.
get her on the show eventually down the road here.
Yeah, she said she would come on. Everybody else is coward out.
Nope.
Everybody
No,
else is a coward.
no, they won't come
What
on.
about
Emmanuel
Cahoes,
won't come
Donnie? What was
on.
Donnie saying? Come on. What about Cahoes? We just talked about Cahoes for about 45 minutes, Don.
Yeah.
But Timmy, tell us about Cahoes High School metal detectors.
Yeah. Well,
What do you think
basically,
about that?
yeah, you think about it, okay? Imagine the history of Cahoes, okay? Where now Cahoes is supposed to be so safe, according to the mayor, okay, that if you don't feel safe here, you can move. But now, because we're so safe, we now have to put metal detectors on the
Yeah,
entrances to Cahoes High School, and that's
yeah.
what's coming. Imagine that. I never
Yeah,
thought I'd see the day.
I'd love to get a poll on what people think of that. When I first
Yeah.
heard it, I said this is ridiculous. But I think my senses were telling me it's ridiculous because it's that crazy.
Yeah, I mean,
That school is that school. You know, when I was a kid,
you're
let's
getting
face it, man.
screened like you're at the airport, Sean.
Yeah. Well, Timmy, maybe you have to. I'm a father.
Yeah,
I'm a father. See, when I was in high school, you just got in a fight. You went outside and you got in a fight. You see guys like Tommy White fighting Andy Britt, two tough son of a bitches that would be battling each other like, and you'd look at them both and say, look at them two son of a bitches. It's, I had my share of fights in school. You probably had your share of fights in school. Donnie Gibbs has his share of fights in school. We all did, right? We all had, but you know what? It was a different breed. Half the people you got in a fight with, Timmy, you're friends with today, right?
yeah,
And
yeah.
most people have friends that they were friends with that they got in fistfights with. Today they're shooting you, Timmy. Today they're stabbing you. Today there's no tough guy. And
Mhm.
the schools are a scary place.
Yeah.
I
It's
think
coming to
about it all the
Cahoes,
time.
Sean.
Well, I
Coming to
drop my
Cahoes.
grandkids off
Uh,
at school just like every other mother, father,
yeah,
grandfather, and you think to yourself, man, I just hope they're safe because it's a
you're gonna
crazy.
have to have right. You think it. You not only are you gonna have to purchase this metal detector, but you're gonna have to man it, and you man it with more than one person. Okay, if you have people with certain devices, then they got to use the wand on you too. Next, Jesus Christ, just to go to high school. What are you going
Yeah,
to do after when you go to sporting events in the school? Everybody get
I
for basketball games. Everybody, okay, come on in through. You're clear. You're clear. You're clear.
Timmy,
You over here.
did you see the thing on Facebook where the young girl is at the Times Union? No, I call it the Times Union Center, the MVP Arena, and
No, I
these
didn't see
two
that.
guys are beating the shit out of her. They're punching her like
Yep.
I've never seen nothing like it, and there's nobody around to help her.
Yeah,
The-
people
These
don't want to get involved because you become
they're animals. I don't give a shit
right.
if
They
people want to
have right.
criticize me or not. They're animals. You go up to the steakhouse, they're beating each other up at the steakhouse. You go to the dollar store, they're throwing fucking bottles at each other. These kids are animals. They're
Yeah,
animals because they've been brought up like animals because there's no rules. If you don't
there's no
have rules,
bail
what do you
reform. Yeah,
have?
yeah.
Take 10 men, put them in the jungle with no rules, and see how they survived. They're
Hmm.
going to eat each other. They're going to cut each other's heads off if they find them in the woods like a headhunter because they don't know no different. We're civilized. And we're only civilized because this is what happens. You take a gun out, you go to jail. You stab somebody, you go to jail. You punch somebody and hurt them really bad, you go to jail. But not today. 2026 is, oh, we can't do that because it's not good for them. We can't have solitary confinement for murderers that are in jail and they bite somebody's throat apart and eat their fucking heart. We got to let them out. We can't, it's not healthy for them. It's not good for a 17-year-old kid. All he did was shoot somebody, Timmy. What the hell's the big deal? It's not a big deal. Why the hell would we put him in jail forever? I don't know. Why not? Why
got
wouldn't
Sean
you?
Van Fleet Sean Van Fleet is now telling us it's already implemented and it goes into full effect on March 30, which is, another 5 days from now. And, Donnie Gibbs, you're absolutely right. He says the mayor, it's all about him, himself, and his family. Okay. And that's what's going on in this poor town of Cohoes where we keep being told how safe we are, but now our high school has
Listen,
to
I'm
have
gonna
metal
I'm gonna
detectors.
leave this with you, Timmy, and everybody else. And everybody, thanks for joining the show tonight. But
And
I'll leave
subscribe,
you with
people.
this. I'm actually okay with the detectors being there today. I'm more sad that detectors are needed to be there. But as a parent, I'm happy they're there because the
Yeah,
society we've
as a parent,
created
it makes
today.
sense.
Yeah, I'm very sad that we've come to that, you know, position in life where we have to do this. But I'm really glad they're there because, I'm scared of what this world is
Well,
starting to
because
turn into.
Cohoes is not the Cohoes it used to be,
Yeah,
Sean.
yeah.
Okay, it
Remember
isn't.
this. Remember this, people, and I'll let you have the last word, Timmy. Remember this. You vote for the people who are destroying the country. And when it starts being destroyed and you start asking yourself why, look in the mirror because you are the ones that cast the votes. And not only do we cast the votes for the bad people, we cast the votes for the people time and time and time again, and the same people over and over and over, right? And all the people who hate Donald Trump today, they are willing to go elect Chuck Schumer and all of the same people they hated 4 years ago that destroyed their lives. We have no common sense because it's not that common. Timmy, read Kevin Kolakowski's
Yeah, I
post
read
here.
it. It's
Read it out
yeah, it's
loud
pretty
because I think
long.
it's I can't. I think it's interesting. Let me read it. It says the metal detectors are
Well,
already here. The more important question is what data drives this decision? Is it core issues, weapons, drugs, violence, or is it really the deeper culture problem? Because at some point, this becomes less about hardware and more about who we are. Well, that's what I just said, Kevin. I'm with you
yeah,
100%. I'm saying
yeah,
that why I am okay with the metal detectors, not because I believe that the hardware is going to make a difference, right?
yeah.
I'm more sad that we've come to a society that's requiring us to do that. And it's not going to come to that problem,
Yeah.
Kevin. It's already here. We've been talking it on the show for 2.5 years. We've had the DA, the sheriff, we had council people, right, Timmy? We talked about all of these
Yeah, pretty much.
laws.
Look, and all the Ring cameras that everybody now has to put up at their homes, just because you got to keep an eye on everything around you, surrounding. You got to be well aware of your environment.
Yeah.
It's a shame that society has come to this point. It sickens me, but yeah, I hate to see the point where we're at a point where we got to have metal detectors, but it's an unnecessary evil, and I will leave it at that.
Timmy, I want to try to get somebody on the show, and I've reached out to a few people because I want to talk. I know it sounds like it's a boring and a dry podcast to bring people on that want to talk about, youth transgressions and what the hell's driving it, because I know what's driving it. We know what's driving it. Political people passing laws to get votes, to protect those who make money off crime and kids, letting our society break down. No family structure. Timmy, what happened with if your kid's a problem, we're going after your mother and father, right? We're going to bring in
Yeah,
child protective. We're going to take you to court. We're going to hold you responsible because until you're 18 years old, your kid's responsible. We just seen something that should shake every fucking human being to the core. And that is a kid takes his father's gun, or the father helps the kid buy a gun because he thinks it's going to help him when his, because he's a little insane. And the kid takes the gun and kills a whole bunch of kids at school. The father just got life in prison for buying him the gun. That should shake every parent to core, because every parent, certainly not to that extreme, because hopefully that doesn't happen. Every parent, if your kid's 15 years old and he's at the Times Union Center or the MVP, whatever the hell the name of it is, and he's beating the shit out of a girl, he should be put in fucking jail or be put in a detention center. Some kind of consequence, so he says, I don't want to do this no more. But then you know what the argument is? Well, what if he perceives himself to be a girl punching a girl? Isn't that okay? Because it's two girls fighting. You see how crazy the world is and how convoluted it is? Well, I guess if I'm a grown-up man and I punch a girl in the face, I'm just going to say I'm a girl. And then I guess what are you going to do? You can't say it's domestic violence no more, because now we're just girls fighting. It's just a girly thing. The world is screwed up. Kevin Kolakowski's right. You're right. I'm right. The viewers are right. And hopefully next
Donnie
week we can
Gibbs is
talk.
right.
All of
Donnie
our
Gibbs
viewers
is right.
right.
The police and detectives do a great job, but their hands are tied by the mayor. He's right. So everybody's right except society.
Just, well, the people in charge. And we'll leave it right there. Timmy, it's good to see you. Everybody, thank you for joining the show. And we will see you next Wednesday on Truth, Lies, and Political Bullshit.
Yep. And if you haven't subscribed, do so and ring that bell. Thank you.
Amen. Take